St. Louis is famous for introducing the world to gooey butter cake. Now, Bluebell brings to St. Louis and the rest of us gooey butter cake ice cream. A rich combination of cake batter ice cream, a luscious cream cheese swirl, and gooey butter cake pieces. Your taste buds will agree. It's the gateway to the best. Available in pints and half gallons. Look for Bluebell ice cream at your favorite grocer. If you can't find it, ask for it.
Hey, I'm Mark Goodman.
And I'm Alan Light.
On today's podcast, in celebration of International Guitar Month, Pete Townsend of The Who will join us.
Pete went deep with us into his relationship with the guitar and with music in general, the new Broadway version of Tommy. He clarified the status and the future of The Who, and much, much more.
Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light, the only music podcast that matters. Get it on Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
One for the treble, two for the bass. Come on, Davy D, let's rock this place.
All right, Chuck D right here at the Hong Kong airport, getting ready to go to New York and Los Angeles respectively. Davy DMX, along with DJ Lord sitting across. We're at the Hong Kong airport, just finished playing Indonesia at Jakarta, where we just had a rousing concert. Now we're heading back to the USS of A. And I got Davy D right here. I'm going to ask him some basic questions right here for And You Don't Stop at rapstation.com. All right, Dave, your song, One for the Treble, was rediscovered when it appeared on the rap station in the video game Grand Theft Auto. Did you know that? Yeah. Also, Vice City. What was your immediate reaction when you heard about this? And do you see this as a positive way to connect today's youth with the old school?
Yeah, I definitely do. Video games and TV themes always put classic hip hop and R&B as well into the kids' ears. It's just a way they identify with old school music through TV and video.
Was you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. It was a Mr. Magic pick that he had. Houdini, Curtis Blow, Fat Boys was all involved in the Grand Theft Auto. That was the first the first Vice City game, Grand Theft Auto.
The rap music has become the most popular music genre, they say today. And as somebody who started his career as a DJ in the late 1970s, did you ever believe that rap would become this popular that it is today, 30 years later?
I always knew rap was going to be big. Maybe not as big as it is now, but I always knew it was going to be big. It was going to be a part of the mainstream of music.
You played the arenas your first year out.
Yeah, we opened up for the Commodores, and we did United States with the Commodores, and also did the show with Bob Marley at the Garden, which was a classic show. That was his last big show.
Mm-hmm. You played with the Clash too.
Oh yeah, we toured with the Clash in the United States as well.
Is DJing and producing a dying art form? I mean, like DJ records, instrumentals. You made a classic instrumental record, and it seemed like there was once upon a time an instrumental would come up. What do you think is the problem right now without instrumentals? Because it's one thing, it's about just like cats is taking the vocals off, but I mean, back when you made One for the Treble, that was a straight out instrumental smash.
Before it was you had a collaboration of different things. Now people are flying their vocals in and so on and so forth. So it doesn't have that connection to me. You know what I mean? So if you had a good instrumental record, you might as well just leave it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having to compromise the feel you have with somebody and putting a different subject matters over it and just let it be free. The track kind of be free.
Do you feel that sometimes a rapper or a vocalist can mess up a track?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think that's something you should sit down with and work that out. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways where you have the vocals and you put a track to somebody's vocals than somebody putting the vocals to your track. So Yeah, sometimes, you just leave things alone. Just put a chorus on there or something and just go with it.
Over your 30-plus years, your history of hip-hop runs deep. You're a pioneering artist and a producer. Looking back on your career, is there a highlight for you and something that strikes you as this is something I'm most proud of?
Well, the Crush Groove soundtrack is one, and doing Beats to the Rhymes with Jam Master Jay, producing that. Also, I produced one of the Last Poets, Jalal from the Last Poets. I say one of the top 3 things I did.
How did it work with yourself, Larry Smith, Ron, J, D in the studio? I mean, how was that atmosphere?
It was a close family type thing with Larry Smith, who also produced Houdini, Lobo Starsky, and a few other records. We was always tight, being that we worked with Curtis Blow. He did Curtis Blow's co-produced Christmas Rapping in the Breaks. So then we got to do Orange Crush Action with Russell, and also Jimmy Spicer, Bubble Bunch, and Dollar Bill.
What was it like watching Run DMC grow as artists? Because you was there at the beginning. How was the whole thing when you seen them go from in the beginning into because you already had been there with Curtis Blow, and you already had played all these places, and then you seen Run. He was son of Curtis Blow, 12 years old. What was it like when they actually emerged to get real big?
It was incredible how Larry Smith gave him that little rock edge. He gave him that little rock edge that was kind of made them a little different than everybody else at that time. But we always had classic rock records in hip hop, and they were just one of the first to just have it produced, by Larry Smith.
So, what was it like getting the call to come in and play bass for Public Enemy? Replacing Brian Hargrove, and as a bass player, is there somebody that you looked up to for inspiration over the years, or do you carve your own path as a musician?
When I think of playing and making new bass lines, I always think of Good Times or something better like that. But making a better bass line than Good Times, pretty much, is my standard kind of. I listen to a lot of Stanley Clarke. I'm also a guitar player, so. Al DiMeglio, Return to Forever, Chick Corea.
How did you start?
Playing
the instruments. I know church and.
I actually started when I had some friends. We was on some Jackson 5 thing, and I asked my father to get me a guitar just so I could hold it like Tito Jackson. And these years went by, and I was walking by somebody's house and I heard them playing. So I went in there and they showed me how to tune my guitar. It was actually wrong the first time. So my first year playing I didn't know how to tune the guitar right. So once I learned, I had to relearn.
Did you know this person? Did you just walk in there?
Yeah, I did. I ended up knowing them. I knew the drummer and the guitar player.
When you got the call to play for PE, how did that come about? How did that work? Because it seemed to develop into a nice fit.
Actually, I saw the job of playing in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I called Griff to get some tickets, and he told me that Brian wasn't gonna be here for 1 or 2 shows. So he asked me did I have my bass and I wanted to play. I said definitely. So I did the 2 shows with PE and Charlotte, North Carolina. Went to Raleigh and also Atlanta. And then from there, it's history. I guess Brian went on to do other things, and I got called to stand in for him, take his place.
Davy DMX is given the reins to craft a classic artist hip-hop tour. What 5 artists would you love to see on that type of tour?
Of course, I would love to see Run DMC get back and do their thing. Of course, PE, of course. Either EPMD, Eric B, Rakim, it might be a good fit. House of Pain, or Cypress Hills.
In the early days when there was no formula and no rules, you really broke ground with the sampling that you was doing. Could you imagine hip-hop getting as big as it has on a worldwide scale without doing that?
Without sampling, I was one of the last producers to want to sample because I always play instruments, so I could always just listen to something and just emulate the feeling of it. Not to say the exact pattern, but just emulate the feeling of it, and made original hip hop music, which I give credit to Larry Smith as well, of laying down that groundwork of original hip hop music and not sampling and taking other people's, like doing good times like Sugar Hill Gang did.
Why does it seem like the history of hip hop is just sort of slanted where people don't get credit where credit's due?
Well, people not being able to tell their own story, so other people were just assuming of, I guess, how things went, and that's put that in the media, and that's what it becomes. Instead of people researching a little more to find out exactly what really happened.
There's a rumor that you've been invigorated and you hitting the studio to bust out a lot of tracks and put out the album. What happened to some of the things in your catalog, and how do you see you going about releasing this for the future?
Well, as we talked before about releasing compilation or unreleased stuff, I definitely have hundreds of tracks, hundreds. I have an unreleased Def Jam album. I'm in the process of all getting together right now.
When I first started touring with you, I started touring with you in our first year. You had your album out, and Hurricane was your theme rapper. How did that come along, with Hurricane becoming your main rapper?
Hurricane is from Hollis. I had a DJ crew, a rap crew called Solo Sounds, and Hurricane and Cool T, which was known later as the Afros, was my original MCs. So we played in the park. Actually, I was playing in the park, and I really didn't have MCs. I didn't really need none. To tell you the truth. I went hard. So they came about. They came, and we kind of joined up from just being local in 34 Park and 192 in Jamaica Park in Queens.
How was it around home when you first got famous? Because the things changed for you on your block.
Not really. I had a lot of friends in my neighborhood, man. So it was basically the same circle. So more knocks at your door and stuff like that. Actually, I remember a time where Young MC knocked on my door to battle.
Young MC?
Young MC, yeah. I lived on 215 in Hollis. He lived on 211 in Hollis Avenue.
Before he moved to L.A.?
Before he moved to L.A. to go to college.
Did he know you?
Yeah, he knew me from the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, how you have other DJs in the neighborhood just, like, trying to get at you. So he knocked at my door. I'm like, yeah, you don't knock on my door and approach me like that, but come on in. I'll go first.
You remember the day that me and Hank came to your house and we came to this I think we came to a side door and you had the studio set up?
Yeah, just like things like that, I don't know how we met, whether I came out to one of the Spectrum parties or something like that, but we got together, we got by the house, and I listened to your stuff. I liked it, but I wasn't in a position to really take it to where it needed to go, so I suggested the Def Jam to y'all, and it's history from there.
I remember going to the house, but I remember like, well, you knock on the door. Well, you knock on the door. I'm not knocking on the door. You might just come out and just yell at us or something. Yeah, we was happy that you took our meeting.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great Davy DMX for hiphopguys.com, and always a pleasure. And I got your page up. I'm putting just things up, and so I think this interview is going to get around big time. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm Chris Hahn, the Aggressive Progressive. Check out a new episode of the Aggressive Progressive podcast every Tuesday. You know, the election is heating up just as the year is winding down. Stick with me. I'll tell you the truth as I see it. Download the Aggressive Progressive on Pandora or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Mark Goodman.
And I'm Alan Light.
On today's podcast, Record Store Day founder Carrie Colliton is joining us to discuss the April 20th RSD special releases.
Plus, we'll talk live with our audience, the Sound Up Pod Squad, and find out who still listens to vinyl. And some updates from the Beatles universe.
Oh, good. Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light, the only music podcast that matters. Get it on Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.